Alright, cool. Excuse me. Yes, start out every stream with a good burp. Cool. There we go. Now it's working. Hooray. Okay. Sorry, I had some brief technical difficulties when I started up the game, and OBS was like, "What game?" And I'm like, "This one, the one that's on screen," and it's like, "I just see a black screen," and I'm like, "Go home, OBS. You're drunk." Anyway, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Backlog Day. Last week we finished LA Noire. It was cool. And I put up a straw poll about to help me determine what game I should play next. And some rando hacked it so that one of the options on the poll got over 1,000 votes. It got like 1,445 votes or something like that. Whereas before it had 0. So I don't know why anyone would do that. I don't know what good that does anyone, but I'm just, all right, we're just going to pretend that option never even existed. And I picked the option with the second highest votes, which is Lamplight City. This is a game by Francisco Gonzalez, who you may have seen or heard before on the YouTube Adventure Roundtable streams. He is awesome. He makes some great games. I streamed Shardlight, which he did recently. I think that was a Dumb Ways to Die game, wasn't it? I think I did that on Mondays. I think I did that on Mondays. Yeah. Maybe. I don't remember. Well, whatever. Yeah, Shardlight was good. Lamplight City is his... it's his most recent game, not counting the one he's working on now, which is called Rosewater, which I believe is set in the same universe as this one. This game is basically a love letter to Gabriel Knight, to the Gabriel Knight trilogy, which is awesome because I love the Gabriel Knight games, so this is going to be great. And Francisco also informed me that he made a bunch of the decisions of this game as a direct response to things in LA Noire that bothered him. So this will be a great follow-up to LA Noire. So I'm very happy that this game got chosen. Also, he gave me a copy of this game for free. So massive, massive thanks to Francisco Gonzalez for that. I meant to stream this game sooner because of that, but then of course, things happened. I never got around to it, but I'm doing it now. So, let's see. I think this is probably all fine. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Okay. New game. Let's go. Ah, yes. The one of the selling points of this game is it's okay to fail. So we'll see. We'll see how much I fail. I also have pie.
Bill, wake up! The carriage is on fire!
Off to a great start.
That's only funny when I do it to you.
What's the matter? Have a rough night?
Bit too much Bollingworth ale is all. That stuff really creeps up on you.
Sorry I couldn't join you, but I was long overdue for a quiet night in with Addie.
That sounds like Abe Goldfarb.
That's fine. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Hell, maybe Adelaide can even join us. It's been ages since she last drank me under the table.
Afraid she mostly sticks to tea these days.
Miles, what exactly is it we're looking into? I may have dozed off during the briefing.
Honestly, Bill, one of these days Snelling's gonna notice.
No, he won't. Why do you think they put him behind a desk? The man couldn't find his own backside with a pair of pliers and a lantern.
Very funny. Anyway, it's a burglary at the Hanbrook Flower Shop.
A burglary, eh? How dull. At least we'll have enough time to get a drink afterwards.
You seem awfully certain of that.
I am. In fact, I'd bet the devil my head that we're done within the hour.
Really?
Well, the devil's gonna be disappointed that his winnings are so meager. Ah, we've arrived. After you, Bill.
Is that a gold farm? I'm actually not sure now. City of New Britannia. Borough of Cholmondeley. Which I probably pronounced wrong.
Thank you. Keep the change.
And so, our night of excitement begins.
You, more than anyone else, should know that there's rarely a dull night in Chumley.
I have a
Chumley.
feeling tonight will be the exception. Until we get to the pub, that is.
Keep your mind on the case, Bill. Now let's get a move on.
Ben Britton. Oh, okay. All right, I'm wrong. Not Ed Goldfarb. Yeah, no, like I started to think like sounds like him, then went, wait a minute, maybe it doesn't sound like him, because he's pretty distinctive. I can usually pick him out right away. I believe Ben Britton is the composer for a number of indie games.
Were you actually going to do anything for them?
Shut up. Ben Britton, composer for indie games such as I believe Hero U, and Mage's Initiation. I think that's the guy I'm thinking of. I might be thinking of someone else. Raving Man.
He's just pacing back and forth, muttering to himself.
Probably one of the patients from Riverview. Seems like there's more of them on the streets than in the asylum these days.
Well, but that's the correct pronunciation, isn't it? Like, how would you expect a non-British pronunciation to sound?
Glad this thing is lit. This isn't really the type of place I'd prefer to be at this time of night.
Don't worry, Miles. I've got your back.
Oh, okay. Right-click is current case: honor among thieves. The Hanbrook Flower Shop has been burglarized. Will the burglar return, or is this investigation just a formality? Speak to the owner of the Hanbrook Flower Shop. All right, so that's like casebook objectives, journal-ness. Clues, cool. Suspects, documents, cool. Ooh, right, and then we have a menu bar. Neat. Do I have an inventory? Doesn't look like I do. Maybe that'll come up later.
I thought we were here to investigate a burglary, not stand around taking in the ambience.
I would take in the ambience all I want.
I can't believe that thing made it all the way across the Atlantic in less than a week.
Don't scoff at the future, Miles. Pretty soon, we'll all be riding those things to work.
Especially considering Prince Harold is their big celebrity passenger. I can't believe... Especially...
Fordham, what are you doing?
I was gonna check inside this trash can for clues.
Miles, in the 15 years we've been partners, how many times have you found something inside a trash can that wasn't garbage?
Fair point.
No, this is a backlog game. I mean, this could be a dumb ways to die game, although I don't think you can die in this game. But I don't know, maybe you can.
Looks like they've had some trouble with vandalism.
Pretty much every business in this part of town has.
That reminds me. I should pick up a bouquet for Addie when we're done here.
Seems like you've been spending more time with me than with her lately. I sure hope she's not the jealous type.
Certainly looks cozy in there.
Plants have a
Certainly looks cozy in there.
Plants have a nice way of doing that.
Great Star, thank you for the raid. Let's see.
Bill, could I have a word?
What's on your mind, Fordham?
Hey, dang. Oh, cool. Oh, what? What is this? Oh, interesting. You can share emotes now by... Oh, that's cool. Huh. Interesting. Yes. ATM machine. Like I said earlier, although you may not have been here at the time, this game is a big like love letter to Gabriel Knight, including hence this whole whatchamajigger dialogue screen thing. So,
A burglary at a flower shop. Not the most thrilling case we've had, is it?
If I didn't know any better, I'd say Snelling's been giving us the boring cases lately on purpose.
Why would he do something like that?
He's eyeing a promotion to chief of police. He'd sell his own mother's cane if he thought it would help. Plus, there's no secret he doesn't like us.
I can't understand why. I've shown him nothing but respect.
It's because you're too good at what you do. And because you're friends with me.
What's that got to do with anything?
Not everyone is as open-minded as you, Miles. Let's just leave it at that.
You ever miss living out here, Bill?
About as much as you missed stepping in that pile of horseshit last week.
I was distracted by that story you were telling me about your sister. How's she doing out west, anyway?
Well, she's not in the chum, so fantastic. Living here was about as fun as wearing a vest made of meat to a dogfight. I'm glad we both managed to get out. Oh, and by the way, Miles, you didn't do such a great job of cleaning your shoes.
That would explain all the funny looks I've been getting.
oh my God, that is a big fat cheer. Thank you, Gretch.
Still feeling rough, Bill?
Thank you so much.
Yes, but I'll feel better once his case is finished and we can go down to the Angel for a pint or four.
Hair of the dog?
No better medicine.
When's the last time you took any time off?
That's a good question. What year is this again?
I think we've both been working a bit too much lately. Addie's been wanting to go visit her mother in Dixie. Maybe we can all go.
That sounds nice, but I wouldn't want to be a third wheel on a visit to your in-laws. Unless... Would Adelaide's brother be there by any chance?
You're incorrigible, Bill.
It's one of my finer qualities.
Got any opinions on the upcoming election?
I'll just be glad when it's all over. Seems like the last few months have been nothing but people giving opinions and telling me what to do without a moment's peace.
I know what you mean. I already saw some kids putting up Atwood posters down my street.
I already drew mustaches in all the ones on my street.
Handlebar?
You know me too well.
I always thought of Atwood as more of a Van Dyke type of man myself.
I can see that. Yeah. Well, there's something to do tomorrow.
You're so mature.
You enjoying this weather? It's a nice evening for it, not too hot. I find a bit of fresh air always helps clear out the mental cobwebs.
It's just too bad the air in the chum is about as fresh as a week-old corpse. At any rate, it'll be winter before you know it. The whole city will be shut down, and we'll be digging bodies out from under the snowbanks.
Always something to look forward to. The ferry ride over was surprisingly uneventful, don't you think?
I know. It doesn't really feel like a visit to the chum without seeing at least one fist fight. Oh well, there's always the ride back.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
I like this dude. I like both of these dudes.
An all too common sight in this part of town.
Sad to say, it hasn't really changed much since I was a boy.
Alright, I guess we should probably actually investigate this flower shop, which is what we're here for, instead of standing around poking things.
Come on, Bill.
Nice of them to
Charming little place,
hold
isn't
the
it?
door open for.
Charming, but empty. We need to find the owner.
Always so to the point, Fordham. If ever there was a better time to stop and smell the flowers.
I think I'll leave that to you, Bill.
With my allergies? Hardly.
One thing I really like about Francisco Gonzalez games, I've played several of them. The first one I played was a Golden Wake. So I played that one. I played Shard Light. Now I'm playing this. You can really see how he's improved in like his art and his animations and just like everything he's been doing with his games.
Lost in thought again, eh, Fordham?
Since the earlier ones. Although I haven't played his earliest ones, I believe the Ben Jordan games. Haven't played those. But yeah, you can really kind of see how he's improved across games, and Rosewater, from what I've seen of it so far, he's still improving. So yeah,
Plants hanging on hooks. A nice space-saving method.
it's cool.
I'd probably bang my head against them constantly if I had them in my apartment.
Plants hanging on... Not too many left. Seems business isn't so bad around here.
Well, you know what they say. There are only 3 certainties in life. Death, taxes, and people taking advantage of sales.
This is quite the selection. Come over here and take a whiff, Bill.
Sure, if you don't mind me getting snot all over your coat.
Oh, no, not the Myers case all over again. On second thought, you can just stay over there. This is quite the selection. Oh, on second... These prices are pretty reasonable. The place I go in Worcester's clearly robbing me blind.
If you think those are bad, don't go near the flower shops in Lyon.
Yeah, you're right. These are all like British place names,
These seem to be part of the watering system for the flowers.
but
I haven't
definitely
seen old piping like this in a while.
American
Seems like
accents.
someone's reluctant to upgrade.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Mostly a bunch of fertilizer and growth tonics.
I think I was thinking
Growth
of
tonics, eh?
Plant growth tonics, Bill.
Of course. I knew that.
I think I was thinking of Leeds. That might have been. I heard an L name, and my brain went the wrong direction.
The staircase isn't very well lit.
I'll go first. That way you can catch me if I fall.
We should probably ask for permission before heading up there.
Permission. I'm an adventure game protagonist. I don't need permission. Well, I guess I kind of do.
It says private.
Well, that's one mystery solved.
Is it?
We've talked enough for now, Miles. Let me know when you've discovered something new.
Ding.
Right there. Oh, hello, gentlemen. I must say you caught me by surprise. I was preparing to close soon. May I help you find anything? The flowers in the center display are half price this week, and I have a special on chrysanthemums today.
Ooh.
Or perhaps a custom bouquet for the special ladies in your lives?
I have no need myself, but maybe Adelaide would appreciate a little something. Eh, Miles? Those peonies in the corner look nice.
I'm afraid we're not here as customers tonight, ma'am. We'd like to have a word with the proprietor. Is he in?
I see. I'm Cecilia Handbook, and this is my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Miles Fordham, and this is my partner, William Legere. We received a report of a burglary at your store.
A report? From whom? I never contacted the police before, and I didn't this time, either.
It was made anonymously, but are you saying this isn't the first time it's happened?
Correct. It's happened 3 times. But considering the police hardly care about the daily muggings and vandalisms around here, I didn't think they would be interested in something so trivial.
Well, we're here now, and we'll do all we can to help you.
We'll have to see about that.
If you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Handbrook, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Very well, Detective.
Gotta love the last sip of my hot chocolate goes down the wrong pipe. Great, thanks. Thanks for ruining my otherwise delicious drink.
Could you give me the details concerning the burglaries?
I know,
About
right?
3 weeks ago on Monday, I noticed that my order of Easter lilies was missing. At first, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes certain types of flowers are unavailable or arrive in poor condition. These things happen. Then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, it happened again. But this time, I noticed something rather odd.
Go on.
When I opened the shop, there were 6 crowns and 10 shillings on the counter. That's exactly the cost of 2 orders of lilies. Last Friday, it happened yet again. The lilies were missing, and there was payment for one order on the counter. I believe that someone has been breaking into my shop after hours, taking the lilies, and leaving money behind.
How unusual.
So it's not technically a burglary, is it?
Have you noticed any suspicious characters lurking around?
Detective Fordham, this is Chumley. You can't throw a stone without hitting a suspicious character. And if you've noticed my window, you'd be aware that stones get thrown around quite a bit in this neighborhood. If you're looking for trouble, you're far more likely to find it out there than in here.
I meant if you'd seen anyone out of the ordinary near your shop.
Only the two men from the police who entered it tonight. That is most definitely out of the ordinary.
Detective Boredom. I hope not.
Have you found any evidence of a break-in?
No, the front door is always locked. My assistant Trevor and I are the only ones with the key.
Are there any other points of access to the building?
It was Trevor.
The upstairs windows, I suppose, but I make sure to keep them locked, and neither of them have been broken.
Would you allow us to have a look upstairs?
Is that really necessary? I was just about to close up the shop.
It won't take but a moment.
Fine, I suppose you may, but please, don't dally too long.
All right, cool.
So this burglar has been paying for the stolen goods?
That would appear to be the case, yes. I really don't think this could even be considered a crime. That's one of the reasons I didn't bother reporting it to the police.
Fair enough.
And the other reasons?
Oh, I think I've already made those quite clear, Detective.
You mentioned your assistant has the other shop key. What can you tell me about him?
His name is Trevor Hastings, and he has been working for me for the past 10 years.
Do you trust him?
Implicitly. I've known him for ages, and he has been my full-time assistant since shortly after my husband died. You're not suggesting he had anything to do with this, are you?
Not at all. I would like to speak with him, though. Where might I find him?
It's Friday, so he should be on his way back from the docks right now. He'll be bringing my flower order within the hour.
Good. We'll meet him here, then. If that's all right with you.
I suppose I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
Have you been in business long?
Yes, I opened this shop 30 years ago, along with my late husband, David. But the past 10 years, I've been running things on my own.
Don't you feel unsafe being here by yourself so late into the night?
Detective, when you've lived in this part of town as long as I have, it takes quite a lot to scare you.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
A person of interest, yes. Exactly. All right, let's see. So, find a point of entry upstairs, wait for Trevor Hastings and speak to him. Cool. Missing lilies. 3 orders of Easter lilies have been taken, but money has been left for them. Why would the burglar bother to leave money behind? Points of entry. According to the owner, the only points of entry to the shop are the front door and the upstairs windows, both of which she keeps locked. Only she and her assistant have a key. No suspects yet, no documents.
I'll let you know if I have any more questions, Mrs. Hambrook.
Ah, yes, I'm sure you will.
Got a minute, Bill?
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
Aw, that's sweet.
I've heard of honor among thieves, but have you ever known a thief to pay for stolen goods?
Perhaps conducting normal business is just too boring for him. Do you think he might be doing it for the thrill?
There could be any number of reasons. The best way to find out is to catch the culprit and ask him ourselves. What's your impression of dear old Mrs. Hambrook?
I like her. Good old-fashioned, tough-as-nails Chumley woman. Reminds me of my mother.
Your mother was never quite so stubborn. Why do you suppose she's so reluctant to accept our help?
It's a chum thing, Miles. You wouldn't understand.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
I like the expression changes. I like Miles' little,
Interesting choice of decor in here.
Perhaps it wasn't always used as a storeroom, although I can understand why it would have been converted.
Yeah, it is rather drafty in here.
A pastoral landscape. Definitely nowhere near here.
I've never much understood art, but it would be nice to see a place like that in person.
I would imagine that keeping a consistent temperature in here is important for the flowers.
When do you suppose this contraption was last serviced?
Hard to say. Definitely not recently, if the dust buildup is any indication.
Just don't let anyone named, what was his name? Varley service it. He'll make it explode.
Lamplight City, in all her glory. This provides a means of escape from the top floor, or access to this window from the ground. The window latch, securely locked. Interesting. There's a gap between the window and the frame here. No wonder it's so drafty in this room. I wonder.
What are you thinking, Fordham?
That it's time for an experiment. I'm going to need a tool, however. Something long and thin should do the trick.
Shouldn't be too hard to find something like that around here.
Yeah. Someone very possibly could have reached in through the gap with something, undone the latch, opened the window, climbed on in.
A rather distinguished-looking gentleman.
Reminds me of Captain Snelling, if he ever smiled.
A young lady. Perhaps a relation of Mrs. Hanbrook?
I can see the resemblance. Sort of.
I've seen this type of device before. It's a special container for growing plants. Specific temperature and water conditions can be adjusted. Seems to be empty right now, though. And judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time, if ever.
It seems Mrs. Hanbrook isn't too fond of steam tech, or just doesn't understand it.
Seems to be the broken pot storage area.
Why not just throw them away, I wonder?
It's likely they're going to be repaired. I noticed some faint cracks in some of the pots downstairs. Unmarked, but if the smell is anything to go by, this is where the flowers are stored when delivered.
I'll keep my distance then.
I don't think this window would serve as a viable means of entry.
It's a nice view, though. You can hardly see the vomit and manure piles on the street from up here.
Ew.
Bill?
What's going on, Miles?
The gap in the window upstairs is intriguing.
Do you think it might be the point of entry?
Indeed. I just need to find something long and thin to confirm my theory.
I think you were born with something like that, Miles.
You're disgusting, Bill.
I know. That's why I always do the dirty work.
Really,
Let's
Bill?
get back to it.
All right.
Oh, neat. Aha, yes. Hanging plants.
Aha! This hook is exactly what I need. Mrs. Hanbrook, may I borrow this hook for a few minutes? It's crucial to our investigation.
Is that so?
Yes, I promise I'll put it back as soon as I'm done.
Please do, Detective.
Sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I guess I don't have an inventory. Interesting. Window gap. There's a small gap between the window and frame through which a draft enters. A small and thin object might fit through it. The upstairs window leads to a fire escape, but is locked. Could this be how the burglar entered?
Good. Bill, it's time for our experiment.
And what is this experiment going to be exactly?
Simple. I'm going to see if this hook can get me inside the shop. Rather dark out here.
Watch your step, then. This experiment of yours isn't worth a broken neck.
I'll be fine. Now then, could you please close and lock the window, Bill?
Haha. Click.
Well, I'd say this is fairly incontrovertible proof that the building can easily be broken into without arousing suspicion.
Where'd you learn how to do that, anyway?
You taught me, remember?
Nah. Are you sure it was me?
Positive. We were a few pints in at the Angel about 5 years ago, and you decided I should learn how to pick locks.
What else have I taught you how to do while drunk?
That would be telling.
Oh my. Experiment results. My experiment with the hook proves it is possible to unlock the window from the outside by using a hook-like tool. This is most probably the way in which the burglar entered the shop.
We've talked enough.
All right then. Oh, hello. You must be Trevor.
Ah, Trevor.
Evening, Cecilia. I've got the order ready to bring in.
Trevor, these are Detectives Fordham and Leger. They say there's been a report about the burglaries, and they're here investigating.
I only did it because I think it's been going on too long.
Oh, what?
As much as you want to, we can't handle this ourselves.
We can discuss the matter later. In the meantime, the detective would like a word with you.
I'll be needing to bring in the flowers first, if that's all right. Otherwise, some hooligan's likely to run off with them.
My partner will keep an eye on your flowers. Bill, would you mind?
Ah, the glamour of police work.
Yeah, I heard him too. He just confessed.
Now, Mr. Hastings, if I could ask you a few questions?
Go on, then.
What can you tell me about the recent burglaries?
I wish Cecilia had contacted you a lot sooner. She's a damn fine woman. But sometimes I think she'd rather jump in a rose bush than ask for help.
Oh, so he's the one who
I had to
contacted
take
us.
matters
Okay.
into my own hands. This needs taken care of, and we can't do it on our own, as much as Cecilia would like to. Anyhow, alls I know is someone's been making off with some flowers and leaving money behind. No idea who it could be, how they're getting in, or why they even bother paying. In my day, if you robbed a place, you did it the right way. It's a sad state of affairs when even burglars don't do their jobs correctly.
Do you have much experience with burglary, Mr. Hastings?
Now, I never said that, Detective.
Have you noticed anyone or anything suspicious around here recently?
Nothing but the usual roughnecks, ragamuffins, and drunkards. Like I said, it's a real mystery.
Could you walk me through the process of your deliveries?
Of course, there's no great science to it. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons, Cecilia gives me her list of flowers to pick up from the wholesalers. I head over to Gascone around sunset when they get their shipment, and I give them her order. They load up the crate, I pay for it, and then I lug it back here.
How long does that take?
Between moving the crate and getting it across the river on the ferry, a couple of hours. Usually the store's closed by then, so I use my key to get in and leave the crate inside for Cecilia to open in the morning. That's all there is to it. Told you it wasn't very complicated.
Do you ever leave the crate unattended during that time?
No, sir. Never more than a minute. I may be old, but I got good eyes. I'd see if there were anything amiss. Besides that, I check to make sure the crate is still sealed when I drop it off. I'm not about to let Cecilia down by being careless.
Okay. I wonder if, like, there's something other than flowers in the crate.
How long have you been working for Mrs. Hanbrook?
Been about 10 years now, I reckon. I used to help with deliveries now and then when it was her and David, her husband. But after he passed, she offered to make me her assistant. Unfortunate way to get it, but I needed the work. Used to be I had a job at one of the airship yards, but they let me go after I was injured by one of those newfangled steam machines. So the offer came at a good time. Besides that, Cecilia needed looking after, even though she'd never admit it. If I'm being honest, we're both getting a bit long in the tooth. Not sure how much longer we'll be keeping this up, but as long as I'm upright and breathing, I'll be bringing these crates along, even if it is murder on my back.
I admire your work ethic.
I've got a job to do. Not enough people these days seem to respect that.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Hastings. I'll let you get back to work.
Appreciate it, Detective. If you don't mind, Detective, I still need to check the crate before I bring it in.
Of course. Thank you again for your help.
Learn anything?
Possibly. I may have an idea.
Ah, you're being cryptic. That's always a good sign. But if you've got a plan, let's talk about it.
Yes. Put Hook back, like I
Oh.
promised.
Thank you, Detective. That's quite decent of you.
Ah, yay, achievement!
Got a minute, Bill?
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
Any thoughts on Mrs. Hanbrook's assistant, Trevor?
Yes, I feel sorry for him.
Why? He seems to enjoy his work.
Nah, it's not that. He's obviously smitten with Mrs. Hanbrook, but she won't give him the time of day.
What? You only saw him for a few moments. How in the ether did you get that impression?
The way he looked at her, the way he spoke when he confessed to contacting the police. Shall I go on?
No, that's fine. I see what you mean.
Really, Miles? You'd be surprised what you can learn from people if you just look at them.
Why bother doing that when I've got you to do it for me? Right. Based on what we've been told in our experiment, I can only conclude that our burglar is using the upstairs window to get into the shop.
So, what do you propose we do about it?
It's happened repeatedly over the past 3 weeks, on one of the delivery nights. Since it has yet to occur this week, and today is Friday, logic dictates it should be tonight.
So we settle in and wait to see if the burglar returns? Catch him in the act?
Exactly. It's our best chance of solving this before the trail goes cold.
And I was really looking forward to getting that drink at the Angel tonight, too.
I know, but it's as you said yourself. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Besides, forbearance is good for the soul.
Spoken like someone who truly has no idea how to have any fun.
I'm sure I'll get the hang of it one of these days, especially with your expert tutelage.
Okay, let's go have a chat with Mrs. Hanbrook. I'm sure she'll be delighted to know we're spending the night. Damn, I forgot to bring my deck of cards again.
At least it's quiet up here. I'm surprised we didn't go deaf after the last time we did this.
What?
I said, oh, right. Your sense of humor remains on point.
Miles, have you ever considered leaving all this behind?
What, you mean quitting the force?
The Force, the city, going off and seeing what else is out there, you know?
I'd miss it too much. Wouldn't you?
I was thinking I might visit Harley out west. She makes it sound like a dream in her letters. Wide open spaces, fresh air. I know I'm a city boy and would probably miss New Britannia's filth and squalor after a week, but...
You should do it. A change of scenery never hurt anyone. Plus, it's much easier for you than it is for me. I've got a family to consider, after all.
Ah, right.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that, Bill. It's just...
Shh. I think I heard something.
Whoop.
Oh, no.
Bill?
Uh-oh.
Stop! Police!
Uh-oh.
Damn it! He's got up the fire escape. We can corner him on the roof. Stay close and keep me covered.
Oh, your hat! Bill! Harley Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Bill!
Oh,
Stay
shit.
back, officer. I've got a knife.
Ready your pistol, Fordham.
But you're too close!
I trust you, Miles. Your pistol, now!
There's really no need for this, officer. I respect your desire to uphold justice. Mine is more important. If you let me go, I won't come back. And we can all forget this ever happened.
Don't listen to this lunatic, Miles. Take your shot before things get worse.
Yeah, that also sounded like Aid Coldfarb. Huh.
Look, we've caught you red-handed. Put down the knife, let my partner go, and give yourself up.
No! I'm not going to jail. Do you know what they do to people in there?
Yes, I do. If you cooperate, I'll see if I can get the judge to ease your sentence.
I appreciate your tactics, Fordham, but this really isn't the time.
Come on, all you've really done is taken some flowers. You're not a killer. Don't make things worse for yourself.
You don't know anything about me. But one thing's for sure. I'm not going to jail. So let me go free, or else your partner is going over the side.
Fordham, this madman clearly can't be reasoned with. Take your shot, now!
I'm gonna let him go.
Okay, we'll look the other way just this once. Just let my partner go.
Fordham, are you insane?
Bill, don't!
Oh no. No! Shit!
Bill. Oh, God!
God damn it!
I am so sorry, my friend. I am so, so sorry.
I feel like that would have happened no matter what I did. I think I probably would have killed. I wouldn't have killed them, but I think my partner probably would have gotten killed no matter what I did there. Yeah, his hat would have protected him.
Miles, wake up! Your house is on fire!
Huh? What?
You see, I told you it was funnier when I did it to you.
Yes. Yes. Hilarious.
What's the matter? Have a rough night?
Overdid it on the soporific.
Too much laudanum.
Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
That was the idea.
Come now, you don't really mean that.
Believe me, I do.
I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
I highly doubt that, Scar Emerald. It'd be funny, though.
If you're just as miserable, why don't you just go away and leave me in peace?
Believe me, I wish I knew how. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
Allow me to introduce you to someone I know named Rosangela Blackwell.
Right. For the 1000th time, you want me to find the burglar from the flower shop.
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I've told you several times, although to be fair, if you actually listened to me, I'd still be alive. At any rate, you wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
I bet if I'd taken the shot, I would have accidentally hit Bill.
A decent night's sleep?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active. So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Gee, thanks.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's gonna start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe, she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
Oh, I kept his hat! Oh!
You should have let me be buried wearing my hat. At least it wouldn't be gathering dust like it is now.
If I'd done that, it would be dust right now.
Heh, fair point. Wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind. Adelaide's last performance. She could really bring the house down. Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore. I'm certain a permanent indentation in the shape of your rear is starting to form on that thing. Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then.
Oh.
That's a fun little apparatus Adelaide got you. Very soothing.
Watching it spin long enough puts me right to sleep.
I'd say that's really more the soporific's doing. I always liked that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room. Don't worry, Miles. I don't watch when you and Adelaide are having your private time.
It would be nice if you didn't spend the whole time humming.
I thought you appreciated some romantic music.
Wow.
A cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers. Do you suppose she does more of it now that she's retired? Miles, care to explain what you're doing?
Just checking to make sure everything that needs to be in here still is.
Right. If you start taking that stuff during the day, you're really going to have problems. That poster brings back some memories. That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
It's Grundislav! Hey, thank you. Thank you for giving me a copy of this game. That was super, super awesome of you. So I'm
It's
happy
admirable
to
just how organized Adelaide is.
to plug it.
Maybe someday the same can be said about you.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Very much so.
Aw.
You were talking in your sleep again.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
You have to admit, she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work.
She's probably right.
By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
I always like that painting. It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city. It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles. If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book.
Yes. You're sick of this game. All right, fair enough. You've moved on to bigger and better things called Rosewater. I'm enjoying it so far. So yeah, thank you for coming by. And yes, everyone, check out Grundislav's games.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
How's work going? You have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
Aw.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden. How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you, there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
Liar.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Penstroke.
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
That is a pity.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am. I'll let you get back to your book.
Let her read in peace for now. How are your parents doing these days? It's been ages since you wrote them. I can see why Adelaide calls that plant Miles Jr. It's a spitting image.
What? Oh, I guess 'cause it's scruffy.
Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? Too bad it stopped working.
It stopped working when you died. Woo, spooky.
You remember how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes. I always liked that painting. It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city.
Oh, okay, there's a message. Newspaper.
Your book collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move.
Can confirm. Moving books is a pain.
That makes me wonder what old Mrs. Handbrook is up to these days. Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life. Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard. Building those model ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one.
Oh, and then the clock would stop because the nurse picked it up?
Ah, the Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days. I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon.
Ooh, do I get to smack someone with it? I hope so.
Bollingworth Ale. My favorite! And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there someday. It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
Newspaper. What's my horoscope? Ooh, the New Breton Gazette. Remembering the HMS Ligeia. This Tuesday marks the 3-month anniversary of the tragic crash of the HMS Ligeia. The Ligeia was preparing to make its second transatlantic voyage when disaster struck. The airship burst into flames shortly after departing for England, crashing into Foster Park. All 300 passengers on board, including HRH Prince Harold, were killed, as were 54 bystanders in the park. Royal Maverick Lines conducted an investigation and ruled the crash an accident, citing the ignition of a gas leak. Despite this, rumors of sabotage persist. Royal Maverick vowed to instill stricter safety regulations going forward, and that the Ligeia sister ship, the HMS Lenore, would be extremely safe upon its completion. There has been public outcry and protests at the continued on page 7. Gascon Grand Dame dies. Madame Laura Dupree, aged 44, died on Saturday of apparent natural causes. Born Laura Chesterton in London in 1800. Wow, can't talk. She and her family moved to New Britannia in 1804. In 1818, she married Colonel Andrew Shepherd, a royal officer 30 years her senior. The marriage lasted 1 year, ending with Shepherd's death during a trip to Piedmont. Shortly after, Dupree married Benjamin Montgomery, a doctor. They had 2 children, Juliet, born 1820, and Andrew, born 1821. Sadly, Benjamin died of tuberculosis in 1830. 5 years later, Laura married Jean Dupree, a banker. Dupree was known throughout the community as a great humanitarian for her policy of exclusively employing humans rather than using automated service machines in her manor. Funeral services to be held. Continued on page 5. Ethericity. It's real and it's coming, says scientist. The existence of ethericity, a substance said to possess both energetic and restorative properties, was first put forth 2 years ago by Dr. Bennett Clark. I was thinking the same thing, Microfort, yeah. Benjamin Montgomery, named after Ben Chandler, a frequent artist in Wadjet games and also Grandislav games, and Montgomery White, his cat. That's Dr. Bennett Clark. His presentation at the annual Vespuccia Science Conference at the University of New Britain was extremely divisive. Dr. Clark claims that the ethericity exists in small amounts on Earth, but is mainly located in the celestial region commonly referred to as the ether. Imagine electricity, but hundreds of times more powerful. In addition to powering our lights and machines, it can also significantly reduce the effects of aging and heal the sick. The sky will no longer be the limit, he described. Dr. Clark has yet to secure significant funding for his experiments, as his harshest critics have dismissed him as a crackpot. However, there are those who believe that, continued on page 9, second bizarre murder baffles police. New Britannia police are investigating a murder in Chumley, similar to one which occurred in that borough just last month. Though many details are confidential at this time, we are able to confirm that both victims have been male and died from gunshot wounds. New Britannia police declined to reveal any further details and denied rumors that the murders are being committed by a serial killer. We have no reason to believe that these murders are related, said Chief of Police Reginald Snelling. We have our finest detectives on the case and hope to find whoever perpetrated these awful crimes very soon. In the meantime, we ask the citizens of New Britannia, especially those in Chumley, to remain vigilant and report any and all suspicious activity immediately to a police officer. Coverage will continue as the story unfolds. Alright then. What does this message say? Fordham, a big case has come in which I think will interest you. Meet me at the, oh god, that's a French word that I can't say. Rune. I'm sorry, my French pronunciation is terrible. Coffee house for more details. See Upton.
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the ruined coffee house. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
Sweet. No current case. Oh, cool.
Let her read in
Alright. Goodbye.
I shouldn't be gone too long.
I look forward to your return.
Hey, we have nice overhead map of the city. Cool. Fenton Swamp. That sounds fun. Atlantic Ocean. Alright.
Ah, the Rouen Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte.
And this place looks very much like the, I've forgotten its name, but the bar in, Gabriel Knight 1. Yep, the Napoleon House, exactly, yep. That's the one.
Nice seaside landscape. Definitely a stark contrast to the ambiance in here. Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles? Green's Sulfur Soap. Beautifies the complexion and leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising. I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff. Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor or your money back. For use by men only. These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently. Dr. W.S. Sales Wonder Tonic. The best and safest medicine for both gentlemen and ladies. Prevents consumption, general weakness, feverishness, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, flatulence, and head pain. They should also mention that it prevents breathing, heartbeats, and being alive. What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way.
Oh yeah, I guess he'd know, wouldn't he?
Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they?
Ew, there's flies all over the place. Gross. That's a health code violation.
Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea for him. Simon Banks, professional chimney sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean. P.D. Preston's patented papier-mâché perambucat. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving. I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy.
We'll see about
best
that.
avoid that one. He looks like he might tip over at any moment. Reminds me of when I was alive. Ah, good times. He and his friend are having quite the conversation. I bet it's really boring.
But are they playing chess?
He's missing his left arm below the elbow. How do you suppose that happened?
Neat. Oh, that's her. Whoops.
If it isn't my old friend, up to no good.
Hello, Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
That's Miranda Galvin, I believe.
Managed to sneak another case past Snelling, eh?
Yes, and if he finds out I did, it won't be pretty. This is a big one. We're not in Lost Cat territory anymore.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupre?
Laura Dupre. She's one of those Gascon Grand Dames, isn't she?
That's right. I'm surprised you've heard of her. I didn't think you cared about those types of people.
I don't, but Adelaide has several of them as clients. She gets paid to pretend to care about their lives, and I get to hear the sordid details.
Madame Dupre died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
What?
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctor swears she had no pulse. Dupre's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupre. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
Has Madame Dupre recovered from her ordeal?
I'm afraid not. Apparently she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
How does she
If
knock
you'd like
then?
to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street Jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupre home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
Oh, yes. Yes. If there's
Was
content
there
warnings,
anything you wanted to talk about
share
before you
them
get
by all
started?
means. I think there is supposed to be, like, Oh, okay. Racism. I think being buried alive is also probably a content warning.
Yes, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
Don't suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder.
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
And of course, there are still those who blame you for his death, Snelling being the first and foremost.
But the man who killed him is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My hands are tied. I can only ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit. If you find any connections or leads during your other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
See, she has a priority streak. You could learn a lot from Upton.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you asking about that on Twitter.
How are things going with you?
Work is hectic as usual, and I'm spending my day off in here. But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard. It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine, although things between us could be improved, if I'm being honest. The less said about it right now, the better, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay. Okay.
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper. She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar, but I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
This game was made by an American, so no, the script was not written by... It's not a British script, it's not a French script, it's an American script.
All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee?
But the setting is, as you can see, like a combination of British and French names.
Seems like they have a little something for everyone in here. The specialty house brews. These are definitely not coffee. A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add. Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies. Give me an old-fashioned tea kettle any day.
Yeah, like I think it's supposed to be... It's based on New Orleans. Again, because this game is a big fat love letter to Gabriel Knight, which is set in New Orleans.
Just one of many patrons contributing to the oppressive thug in here.
Sorry, New Orleans.
Judging by the sooty apron, this man is either a metal worker, a chimney sweep, or just really lazy when it comes to washing.
There she is.
She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
Alright then. I'm done here. Compton Street, okay, so... Jail, Dupre Manor. Let's see, what do we got here? So, current case, a premature inhumation. Did Albert Martin really do what he is accused of and cause Madame Laura Dupre to almost be interred alive, or was it someone else? Question residents of Dupre Manor, question Albert Martin in jail. I know, right? Yeah, that's totally the the Getty tomb. I remember seeing that a screenshot of that place posted on Twitter when Francisco was still working on this game, and I was like, dude, that's the Getty tomb. That and also this the coffee house. Where do you think we should go? jail, the guy's house, or the manor? We should just go home and go back to sleep. No. Let's not do that. Whose house is at Ray Bradbury Street? Don't know where that is, so couldn't tell you. Compton? Alright, yeah, let's start there.
Ah, Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
Bon Bon's Restaurant. I never got a chance to go there, but I hear their deviled eggs are simply to die for.
I love deviled eggs.
Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though.
Oh. That's Hebrew writing on the wall there. I could not tell you what it says, though, unfortunately. Much to my chagrin.
I'm glad that Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs.
I've never had deviled ham. Love deviled eggs.
I'm glad that Coulson's one of Atwood's re-election posters, sorely lacking a mustache. Go on, Miles. Fix this grievous injustice.
Ooh, can
Not
I?
now, Bill. There are more important things to worry about.
Spoil sport.
Oh yeah, I want to try Scotch eggs. They sound horrific. I mean, in the sense that you mean, horrifically bad for you, which means, like, yes, I want to try them. I have had a deep-fried Twinkie, which I hate Twinkies normally. Like, normal Twinkies, like, just as they are, gross. Deep-fried Twinkies, fucking amazing.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I've never been a big fan of meat spreads, but I haven't had a lot of experience with them, so I might like it. I don't know. I like ham in general.
I need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
Albert? Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Oh, I don't think you can help. I'm sorry.
Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way.
Good day to you, sir.
Okay. Damn. Well, so much for that idea. Ham isn't my favorite. Also, I tend to like I don't really like ham that much if it's served as, like, a main course in a meal, like for Easter or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of it in that form, but I like it, like, if it's sliced thin on sandwiches. That I'm okay with. Ooh, you're right, I have not saved. I meant to do that before, during the, burglary thing, and then I didn't. Yes, thank you for the reminder. I should definitely save. Yeah, deep fried stuff is probably best enjoyed in extreme moderation anyway, and it's not something I really have very often myself. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not a super huge fan of pâtés, but again, I haven't had them very often, so I don't know. Maybe I like them more than I think I do, and I just haven't had a chance to discover that yet. I don't know. Alright, so that was a bust. Let's go here. Let's go to the manor.
You are aware this is private property, sir?
I am now.
Yes, I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the incident involving Madame Dupre. I assume this is she?
You assume correctly, Mr. Fordham. My apologies, but I thought the police had already made an arrest.
That's right, but there's still some doubt as to the man's guilt. May I ask your name, sir?
I am Dr. Fellows, Madame Dupre's private physician. I'm afraid she is in no state to be answering questions at present.
Are any other members of the family home?
Her son, Mr. Montgomery, is in the entrance hall. I had to give him a mild sedative to settle his nerves, but he should be all right to converse.
All right, Dr.
And
Fontaine.
if you don't mind, I'll have a look around.
Brush your teeth with pate. Gross. Oh, yeah, cheese board. Yes, please. I do love me some cheese. And fruit, for that matter.
With her vast sums of wealth, Madame Dupre could probably feed a starving family for the next 30 years. Instead, she uses the money to keep her hedges trimmed. This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working, but right now it's just a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
Ew.
With her vast sums of... Her eyes are glazed over, and she's got a vacant, expressionless stare. She seems completely oblivious to her surroundings. If we didn't know she'd been buried alive, I'd say she was just exhibiting the typical symptoms of your average rich person.
Oh. Ooh, apricot. Oh, yes. I love apricots, just in general. Anything with apricot in it, gimme. Do want.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Also,
Please
yes,
be my
garlic.
guest.
Garlic. I'm one of those people who, if a recipe calls for 1 clove of garlic, I'll be like, oh, you mean 6 cloves of garlic. Oh my god, you guys are killing me. I already had dinner and now I want cheese. Oh man, brie, yes. Apricot jam is my favorite kind of jam.
Tell me about Madame Dupre.
She is a great woman and a pillar of the community. I cannot imagine why something like this could happen to her, or how someone could be capable of such a barbaric feat. Though this ordeal has been terrible, I am confident she will overcome. The power of her physical constitution is surpassed only by her strength of character.
You think he'd say the same things if he wasn't on her payroll? I highly doubt it.
And he's saying these things even though she can't hear him. Maybe she can, he doesn't know. What was I just gonna say? Oh yeah, I have a friend who is allergic to garlic, and I'm so sad for her.
What were the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupre's supposed death?
Her son, Andrew, sent for me a few days ago after finding her unconscious and unresponsive. As I was unable to detect a pulse or breath, I had no other recourse but to declare her deceased. I judged that Madame Dupre had likely suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. It was most shocking to be proven wrong at a funeral.
I can imagine. Where was the funeral held, by the way?
St. Denis Cemetery. Madame Dupre wished to be interred in the tomb of her father's family, name of Chesterton.
Perhaps I'll go have a look.
Alright, cool. Is she able to cross running water? As far as I know, yes.
How long have you been Madame Dupre's private physician?
5 years, and I've been practicing medicine for the past 30. I still spend a couple of days a week treating patients at Riverview Asylum.
Oh, good. Maybe if you're lucky, he could be your doctor someday.
Oh boy!
30 years is quite a long time. You must have seen some incredible advances in the field of medicine.
I have, yes. I can only wonder how things will change with all this talk of ethericity. There's speculation it can be used to restore necrotic tissue and instantly heal broken bones, among other things. If you ask me, a good bloodletting will never go out of fashion.
I sense zombies in the future.
Did you examine Madame Dupre after she reanimated?
Of course. Physically, she appeared to be in fine health aside from minor dehydration. I found no marks or bruising on her body. Mentally is a different story, however. She's remained in an unresponsive state ever since.
Do you have any opinions on what caused Madame Dupre to appear dead?
The most likely cause I can imagine is some sort of poison or toxin.
A poisonous something.
What leads you to believe Madame Dupre was poisoned?
The symptoms she experienced were consistent with prior cases of poisoning I've studied. And didn't the young man arrested have ties to some kind of black magic cult? There have been reported cases of these practitioners using poisons to make people appear dead, then commanding them to do their bidding. I recall reading about a man in the West Indies who was given tetrodotoxin, that's the toxic secretion from a pufferfish, declared dead and buried. He appeared alive in his village some 20 years later.
Doesn't that seem a bit far-fetched to you, Doctor?
Facts are facts, Mr. Fordham. Surely someone in your line of work can appreciate that.
What can you tell me about
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
voodoo?
I hope I answered them adequately.
Oh, hello. Are you the new servant?
No, I'm Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into your mother's attempted murder.
How did you know I was her son? Oh, of course. You must have sensed it with your detective's intuition. I should have guessed by that giant head of yours.
Are you feeling all right, Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, I'm fine. Much better than when those pesky police officers were snooping around earlier. But I like you, Mr. Fordham. I can already tell you're not like them. Not like them at all. Please, call me Andrew.
Yes. Well, I'll have a look around, and I may need to ask you some questions. Do you think you can handle that?
I can. In fact, I really look forward to it.
If the good doctor gave him a mild sedative, I'd hate to see what the stuff you take would have done to him.
That's probably that definitely sounds like Abe Goldfarb. Hey, nice parrot. Cool statue. But
Do you suppose that's for the bird? Or perhaps so the Dupre family members can get a good look at themselves on the way out of the house?
you gotta make sure you're looking all right. Look at this cool carpet. Very nice. Rug, I should say.
Dupre looks like she's holding on to that poor bastard for dear life. What a beautiful parrot. Must have cost the Dupre's a cool copper.
Yes, I can talk to the parrot.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you.
Pieces of 8?
Bye, matey.
So long, Birdie.
Bye-bye.
Adorable.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
She came back from the dead. I couldn't believe it. My mother, resurrected, just like Jesus.
Yes. I heard you're the one who accused Mr. Martin of the crime.
Oh, no, I already talked to the police about that. I don't want to think about it right now.
I think those are sideburns. Those are very significant sideburns. Mutton chops, perhaps. Mutton chops in the making.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
I like looking at him. He has such pretty colors, doesn't he?
That he does.
You know, I've always wondered what he might taste like. Is that bad, do you think?
I really couldn't say, Mr. Montgomery.
I know, right? He's like an actual, like, legit voice actor. Because he's in Pokemon. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I think neckbeards were popular in Rome too, as I understand. The Roman Empire.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. Nothing as exciting as what you do, I'm sure. Ooh, tell me, do most bad people start crying when you catch them? I'll bet it's a laugh riot to see them sobbing away.
No, Mr. Montgomery, most of them don't.
Well, that's a real shame, isn't it?
Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for yours.
This is ridiculous. He won't be of any use in this state. If it takes him as long to snap out of it as it takes you, we'll be waiting around here until noontime tomorrow. There has to be a way to bring him back to his senses. Maybe that quack outside knows something of use.
Smelling salts, perhaps? First, let's check out the other rooms. Neckbeards and bangs, yep.
Certainly no shortage of bowls or food preparation items around here.
Oh, look at that lovely piece of bread, or loaf of bread. Hey, Beardsy.
Some kind of water dispensing device, maybe? I was never very good at finding my way around the kitchen. Yeah, it looks like gumbo's on the menu tonight. I wonder how it compares with Upton's special recipe.
Yes. I just started making homemade bread. I just got into it. I've done two things so far. I've done focaccia and dinner rolls. Both of them turned out really nice, especially the focaccia. My next attempt is going to be French bread. Hoping to do that in the next couple of days.
It's times like these make me wish I could still eat.
I also, challah is also on my list. I want to try making that, and cinnamon rolls. Ciabatta bread? Yeah, I should try that too. I want to make all the bread.
Looks like the type of spices you'd use in a stew. Most likely paprika or turmeric. Nice variety of reds and oranges. Judging by the amount of food this family probably eats, washing the dishes must take forever.
I know, right? Ugh. I feel really sorry for people with gluten allergies or celiac disease. I tried. I mean, it's kind of ironic that I'm starting to make bread now because I'm trying to cut down on carbs, and so I kind of stopped eating bread. But now apparently that's gone out the window. Oh, banana bread's easy. Well, I shouldn't say that because obviously it's not easy for everyone. But yeah, that's the kind of bread I used to make. I still do, but like I can do like quick breads and stuff. But yeah, it's basically cake. Ended up with muck. I wonder what happened. Maybe you didn't bake it long enough. Ooh, fudge, nice. Fudge is tough. I've made fudge twice. The first time did not go well at all. Second time wasn't perfect, still like it was very close. Wasn't quite perfect, but it was turned out way better than my first attempt. Nice, yeah. Fudge is great. I love fudge. It's a bit tricky to make. You got to have a candy thermometer, and which reminds me, I need a new battery for mine. Oh no. See, no, I know that there are good gluten-free options, and I guess once if you become diagnosed with a gluten allergy or celiac disease, you find them pretty quickly, and you stick to them.
Pardon me, miss.
What? Who are you?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm investigating the attempted murder of Madame Dupre.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm very busy. I can't help you.
What's your what are your tips and tricks for a good fudge, Mule? What's your secret?
Do you know anything about what happened to Madame Dupre?
No, I don't. Please leave me to my work. I shouldn't be talking to you.
All right, I'm going.
All right.
A horrible little porcelain figurine. Madame Dupre didn't strike me as the type to play with dolls. Ah, the Gascon docks. The artist definitely took some liberties. You can't see a single person getting stabbed.
Ooh, what's in your drawers?
This is always my favorite part of detective work.
Looking in people's drawers?
Nothing inside but a bunch of extra doilies.
How disappointing. Maybe you should steal one, just to spite Madame Dupre for not giving us any good clues.
No, Bill.
Aw.
You're no fun, Miles.
Come on, just one doily. No one's gonna miss a doily. Glass pots and a scale for hard mode. I've got a scale. I don't have any glass pots though. Ooh. Peanut butter for easy mode, yeah.
Nice bouquet of roses. Although it would make things much easier if they were Easter lilies.
If only.
Must be nice being able to afford keeping your oil lamps lit during the daytime. A much younger Madame Dupre. I suppose that's a nice alternative to a mirror. Ooh, a fainting couch. You know, I always wanted one of these, but I never fainted enough to justify buying one.
You can fake fainting. Come on. Ooh, yeah, flowerless tort. I found a really good, I found a video of this guy making, like, flowerless chocolate cake with, like, it was, like, 2 ingredients. It was, like, chocolate and eggs or something. Or maybe it was 3 ingredients, I forget. But it was, like, ridiculous. And it was, like, a perfectly good, like, cake. Just cake texture and everything with just, like, 2 or 3 ingredients. I gotta try it. I gotta see if, see if I can recreate this magic. Napping couch. Yeah, there you go. The Parson of Crook
One of those melodramatic romances. I read it a while back, and I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
Convent of the Damned and other short stories.
Now that one sounds interesting. I was always a fan of Bedletter's short stories.
The Chestertons, A Brief History, Choice and Consequence, Equestrian Mesmerism, Buffalo Skinner, A Wild Man's Tale.
Doesn't appear to be very brief if there's 2 volumes of it. I wonder if anyone outside the family would find this even remotely interesting. Choice and Consequence. Who in their right mind would write a book about that? I don't even want to know what that one's about.
Yeah, steal his dentures, yeah.
I read that one last year. If you ever wanted to know the intimate details of a buffalo's anatomy, I highly recommend it.
Hell yeah, gimme. I'm into it.
It would appear that Madame Dupre was taking music lessons.
Her current predicament has probably put an end to that venture, though.
Okay. C scale. Pretty basic for anyone who knows anything about music.
That's an old uniform, from the turn of the century by the look of it. This must be Madame Dupre's first husband. Kinda strange that she'd still keep his portrait in the bedroom.
This is a bedroom? I don't see a bed. I guess, no, that's a chair. Oh, that's neat. Look at that reflection. That's well done.
You've got some huge bags under your eyes, Miles. Reminds me of the case we had on that strange train.
Oh, no.
Don't remind me.
That's a reference to Sepulcher. Or the, not the, well, Sepulcher, but more broadly, the Charnel House trilogy. Oh, wow. That's an obscure reference.
Let's see if there's anything in these drawers. Damn, nothing but personal effects and more stationery.
Don't forget the first rule of detective work. If there's nothing useful inside, check underneath and between.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
Uh-huh, now this is intriguing.
Ooh. I'm not going to warn you again, you just, ooh. Alright, yep, I see where you, the racism there. You disgusting, not gonna say that word, thug. Stay away from my daughter and my house or I'll kill you myself. Something, something. Ooh, approach the Charnel House trilogy with extreme caution. The first 2 episodes aren't so bad. The third one, major content warning for the 3rd episode of the Charnel House trilogy. Major yikes.
Seems Madame Dupre fancies herself a poet.
To dream. O Morpheus, caress my cheek, bring forth the soothing visions, give me strength when I am weak. Allow me some provisions in your domain, I am as a queen, controlling all I see and hear. I've traveled places I've never been, and know not the meaning of fear. Laura Dupre. The dove. The dove is pure, serene, and pale, a glowing angel in the sparkling sky. Its gentle coos unlike the wail of the cursed crow that will not die. Protect the dove from grim defeat, let it remain in gentle flight. For when the crow is allowed to eat, it covers the world in eternal night. That reads to me like a hint for a piano puzzle. That along with the C-scale notation. I'm getting echoes of that one Silent Hill puzzle.
Well, that was life-changing.
For once in my life, I'm completely speechless.
Then perhaps I should take this with me and read it more often. Nah.
Aw. Theme of Gilligan's Island. Alright, let's see. What's new in here? I don't actually know the theme to Gilligan's Island, so unfortunately I can't indulge you. I would though. Madame Dupre was most likely poisoned, making her appear dead. Dark magic practitioners in this city have been known to use this method. Message from Upton, torn letter. Yeah, I think that racial word is like not quite as bad as the main one that you don't want to say, but as I understand, it's still pretty bad, and I probably should not say it.
Whoever lives in this room really likes plants and flowers, don't they? I've never seen so many beauty products together in one place. Doesn't look like they get used much, though.
I'm gonna err on the side of caution.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I, from what I understand, people do take offense to it, so I'm just gonna, like I said, err on the side of caution, and just not gonna.
Nice little cottage. Looks like it would make a nice cozy spot to retire. If I hadn't already retired from life, that is.
Yeah, like, I think it meant, like, it meant, like, mixed. I mean, yeah, it's a reference to, I think partly it's a reference to mules, which are, you know, like, a mix of a horse and a donkey, so it's like, it's got the whole, like, mongrel connotation, which you really don't want to use in regards to people. So, yeah.
Well, someone's fancy. I never liked these types of beds much. They feel too claustrophobic.
I always thought they had a certain appeal myself.
Yes, you would think that about a bed that lets you shut out the rest of the world.
Let's have a look through these papers. Aha, what's this?
Dear Miss Montgomery, unfortunately I've been informed of a series of burglaries in the neighborhood near the room you're renting from me at 76 Forest Lane. As a precaution, I've gone ahead and changed the locks. Please find enclosed a copy of your new key. I hope this doesn't cause you too much of an inconvenience. Yours, Edwina Crestfell.
Interesting. This Miss Montgomery must be Andrew's sister. But why is she renting a room in the Chum? Guess there's really only one way to find out.
Desk drawers.
They're all empty. How unusual.
Not to mention disappointing.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
No. Too much to hope for that key to to open it.
Nice little cottage. Looks like it would make a nice cozy spot to retire. If I hadn't already retired from life, that is.
I feel like that figurine is significant
Goodness, someone
somehow.
went overboard with the flowers. This brings back some memories, doesn't it?
Ones I'd rather forget.
Ooh.
The Science of Pharmacology. Yeah, I'm sure it's riveting stuff.
I bet it is.
It looks as though this folded piece of paper is being used as a bookmark. I hope remembering what page they were on wasn't too important.
Looks like it's a letter for Andrew.
Andrew, enclosed is the agreed upon fee. I wouldn't be able to concentrate on exams without this help. Dr. Tennyson charges an obscene amount. Thank goodness for good people like you with home pharmacies. I'll look for them in the usual spot under the Weeping Angel. Joshua. P.S. Sorry to hear about your mother. I'll wait a few days before passing by. I think Andrew is the culprit here.
These should be useful.
I can only wonder what sort of potions Andrew concocts in this thing. Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. These would make a sloth act like a hummingbird.
Yoink.
The bottle is empty.
Aw.
Decadent. A gentle reminder that everyone's time is slowly running out.
Oh, come on, you gotta turn it over.
Is this really the best that medical science has to offer?
Whenever you see an hourglass, you have to turn it over.
What in the ether is that thing supposed to be? Actually, I'd rather not know.
I would.
Yeah, it must be a nice place to sit and listen to music.
Or cast emptying, yeah.
Why would anyone need so many flowers in one room?
Perhaps it's to mask the odors of those chemicals on the workstation.
Could be. Oh, look! It's one of those new audio cylindergraphs. I can't quite wrap my head around how they can manage to get sound out of a wax cylinder.
That's an excellent question.
I don't know much about art, but I see Madame Dupre and I at least have similar tastes.
That pretty much confirms my suspicion that Bill, my former partner, is gay. Yay! Good for him. Ah, yep, okay. Wait.
That's a nice melody. Reminds me of my mother.
Oh my god! Yes! Easter egg! Wow. I swear I had no idea that would happen. Just play all the Loom drafts I know. A Spugen and Sons. Alright. Well, I'm sure there's something to figure out with this harpsichord, but I don't know what it is at the moment. Except it's Spugen, it's not Spungen. There's no N there.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
I found a letter upstairs addressed to a Miss Montgomery. Who is that?
You were snooping around up there? Naughty, naughty, Mr. Fordham.
It's part of my job. Now, are you going to tell me or not?
Nope. I don't think I will. You're the detective. I'll let you solve that mystery yourself.
I think this mystery could be best solved with a punch in the nose. God, I wish I still had fists.
I found this bottle of pills upstairs. Are they yours?
Yes, I take those from time to time when I'm feeling tired.
You seem to be out.
Yes, that is a pity.
Where do you usually acquire them?
Oh, they're available by mail order only. I'll have to remember to request some later.
Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for yours.
You, tell me about
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
drugs.
Please be my guest.
May I ask exactly what kind of sedative you gave Andrew?
A simple tincture of laudanum. It's what I give all my nervous patients.
He seems a bit out of sorts.
Hot? Meat kettle.
It can have that effect, but it usually wears off in half a day or so.
Is there a way to bring him out of his condition sooner?
A stimulant would have the opposite effect, but I wouldn't recommend mixing the two. It could have potentially harmful effects on his heart.
Oh, of course. I wasn't planning on doing anything of the sort. I was just curious.
It's cute how you act like you have no experience in these matters. It's almost convincing.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Okay. Find a stimulant to bring Andrew out of his stupor. Coffee, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, good old laudanum. Okay, so... there's a cemetery, and this room that his sister's renting, I guess. Let's check out jail.
Fordham? Is that you? You look like something a cat spat up.
Hello, Giles. It's lovely to see you, too.
What brings you around the jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
What? Already? But what about a trial?
No trial necessary when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Such a charming fellow, isn't he?
Alright. I can kind of see where this is going.
Not much of a view. But then it's not as though people in here are meant to have many luxuries. He's watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business. I bet that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it when Giles isn't paying attention.
An excellent plan, Bill.
Either crime is low, or the police aren't doing their jobs very well. Not much in the way of comfort. No bed or even a bucket. It's a good thing this place is meant for short stays.
I like that spelling of jail.
Mr. Martin?
Who are you? My lawyer?
No, I'm actually here to help you. The name's Miles Fordham. I'm a private
Ouch.
investigator.
How are you going to help me?
I'm looking into the attack on Madame Dupre. I believe you're innocent.
Oh, thank heaven. That's music to my ears.
Would you mind answering a few questions for me?
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
Interesting choice of phrase for someone accused of using black magic.
Where's my Magatama?
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
What's to tell? She's a twisted, evil woman who got what was coming to her. Whoever attacked her deserves some sort of reward for the service they're doing the community.
So it wasn't you, then?
No, I'm innocent, Mr. Fordham. You have to believe me.
I'm afraid you're not making that very easy right now, Mr. Martin.
Yeah, you clearly had a motive.
Do you know anything about the circumstances of Madame Dupre's supposed death?
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Then why did her son accuse you?
Probably because he's just as ignorant as she is.
What I meant was, how did her son know to accuse you? Have you had any contact with the family before?
Yes, you could say that.
Uh-oh. That gleam in his eye says it all.
You see, I'm involved with Dupre's daughter, Juliet Montgomery. Dupre doesn't like that one bit. She even threatened me once.
Is that right?
Yes. She might have everyone else fooled, but that woman is the devil incarnate. I can't understand how something so heartless and cruel could have spawned someone as pure and, loving as my dear Juliet.
He's not really helping his case much, is he?
Tell me about Juliet.
She's wonderful. Such a beautiful, kind soul. She hasn't come to see me yet, but I'm sure that's because of all the confusion in the last few days. Juliet wouldn't believe for a second that I would be capable of harming her mother. I'm sure of it.
How did you two get involved?
We met at the university.
Your classmates?
Hardly. They wouldn't allow someone like me to enroll there. Juliet studies botany. I work as an assistant in the greenhouse. We started talking, and she actually treated me like a person. To everyone else, I was just the boy who fetched the test tubes. But Juliet actually wanted to hear what I had to say, had the same taste in books and art. Didn't just treat me like some piece of gardening equipment. She even shared some of her notes with me after I told her I was interested in botany as well. From there, things just got better. I don't expect you to understand or approve, but that's how it happened.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It doesn't sound too different to how my wife and I got together. Except I was a detective and she was a singer at a bar.
And she's...
Yes, Mr. Martin. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. How often is Juliet in the greenhouse?
Every weekday, but I doubt she's there now. She's probably trying to find out where I am and working to have me released.
Somehow, I wouldn't bet on that.
I think Juliet's probably at this room she's renting. 76, whatever that was. It was on the map.
How did you end up in here?
We'll go there soon.
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning. They made some outrageous claims about me putting some sort of curse on Madame Dupre. The next thing I knew, I was here. Oh, Mama must be beside herself with worry. I just hope she's all right.
Good question. Maybe we'll learn whether or not she is when we talk to her. If we talk to her.
What does your mother do, Mr. Martin?
She helps people.
I was hoping you'd be just a bit more specific.
She provides spiritual help to those who seek guidance.
She's a spiritualist.
Not quite. She's more like... how can I explain it? You know how a priest holds mass to spread the word of God to the people? My mother holds services and calls on the spirits to walk among us, providing healing and guidance.
So she's a religious leader?
If you want to give her that title, it would be the most appropriate.
And does this religion of yours have a name?
You'd probably know it as voodoo, but it doesn't mean what you think it does. People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
No, of course not. Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupre's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it.
That's all for now.
Wait, before you go, would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Rock's dog is barking?
I suppose I could do that, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
Interesting. Yeah, you'll note that I did not say, what can you tell me about voodoo? No, yes, certainly not. Okay, there's the university. Jail, Compton, okay, that's his house again. Let's go check out this 76 Forest Lane.
Egad! Is this someone's room or a jungle?
Quite a fascinating array of plants in here, not to mention the machinery on the table.
Seems like Juliet is very interested in getting extra credit. I wonder what sort of fertilizer or growth tonic these plants are getting. Whatever it is, it's definitely working. That's quite the book collection. It almost puts Adelaide's to shame.
All impeccably cataloged and organized as well, which makes the two missing volumes stand out even more.
Oh. Right.
That's quite...
All...
Those are the most vibrant flowers we've seen in a while. I bet they smell extra strong.
Yes, they certainly do.
It's a good thing you're the one with the nose. They appear to be scientific scribblings. I can't make heads nor tails of them.
That makes two of us.
They appear...
That makes two of
Experiments! Ooh.
I have no idea nor desire to know what purpose that thing has.
It's a theremin.
They're just doing what flies do best. Etheric pressure. What a bunch of nonsense.
Well, now, this is interesting.
Etheric effects. Flora. Larger, more vibrant flowers. Chlorophyll production seemingly triples. Spelled chlorophyll wrong. Root systems strengthen, increasing capacity to absorb nutrients. Conclusion. Plants thrive from exposure to small etheric currents. Further experiments are needed to determine the long-term effects. Etheric effects. Fauna. Brain is clearly affected, inducing a trance-like state. Muscle control lost. Wings flap a predictable pattern. Conclusion. If animals with greater cognitive ability, including humans, are exposed to specific quantities of ethericity, they will go into a stupor, appearing unresponsive or dead. Ooh. Interesting.
Just a bunch of technical nonsense. I can't understand a word of it.
Huh.
Oh, would you look at that? Oh.
Alright, so... Etheric effects in action. Very interesting.
I'm guessing they're probably full of more scientific equipment or plant-related stuff. This plant makes Miles Jr. look like a single blade of grass.
Okay, so that's probably an important clue right there. It's not in my casebook, is it? Not really. Useful tool for reaching things too small for human hands to reach, or for plucking those pesky long eyebrow hairs. An empty bottle of pills designed to energize even the laziest of people, recommended for use by men only. Contains 98% benzoyl methylecgonine. Someone more knowledgeable in chemistry than me, despite my screen name, by all means, educate us on what that is.
St. Denis Cemetery. Best view in the city. It's just a shame none of the residents can enjoy it. I think I'm buried around here somewhere. Wonder how the old gravestone is doing these days.
Ooh, we should see if we can find his grave.
Looks like people have left markings and offerings in front of this tomb. You may think it's a silly superstition, but I wish you'd leave a bottle of Bollingworth at my grave every now and then.
It means cocaine. This might be a reference to Marie Laveau's tomb in Gabriel Knight.
Nice view of the river from up here. You can hardly even see the cloud of smog over the chum. This just goes to show you can't take it with you, so you might as well spend it all on a giant tomb. If only that police officer wasn't guarding the tomb, you could go in there and raid it to your heart's content.
Yeah, I want to raid that tomb.
I don't know him. Must be a recent addition to the force. Well, at least he won't recognize you.
You, sir. Talk to me.
Good day to you, officer.
Good day, sir. How may I be of assistance?
Sure is a nice day to be walking around the cemetery, wouldn't you agree?
I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. Personally, the noise those bugs are making is starting to drive me crazy.
Would you mind letting me in the tomb, please?
Afraid I can't do that, sir. This tomb is currently part of a police investigation and ain't available for visits until further notice.
But it's my dearly departed Aunt Hester's birthday today, and I always bring her flowers.
I'm sorry, sir, but I've got my orders. Come back in a few days. I can assure you, your aunt won't have gone anywhere.
Good day to you all.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
Damn. Okay. Looks like I can maybe go somewhere else? Oh, I guess not. Okay.
Plaque says Harrison. Doesn't look very opulent, so I guess it doesn't belong to anyone important.
Wasn't Harrison the name of Gabriel Knight's mother? Wasn't that her maiden name? Oh, I can't go that way. Oh, now it's just exit. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So I said the noise the bugs are making is driving them crazy. Okay, so we need to do something with the bugs, I guess? Or amplify it to drive them away. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's Juliet.
Huh. It's as though we've journeyed to the tropics. I don't know how you can stand to keep that coat on in here.
We should probably wrap it up soon.
Those flowers are definitely not native to this area. They seem to be thriving in their glass tubes, though.
Ah, there we go. You were talking about keeping plants under glass.
Quite the assortment of plants they keep in here. I wonder if they serve any purpose or are just meant to look pretty. I've never seen a flower grow that big. What do you suppose they're feeding them?
Oh, you know, people.
Judging from that pipe, that contraption must be used to keep the plants hydrated. But it looks like a giant earwax remover to me.
Ew.
Quite the one of those cute little Japanese trees that are all the rage these days. Personally, I don't see how giving a tree a haircut is meant to be relaxing.
Hey, Count Zacula, you're actually coming right at the end here. I'm about to wrap it up for the evening. Let's talk to her first, and then we'll call
Pardon
it
the
quits.
disturbance, but are you Juliet Montgomery?
I am. And you are?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into the events surrounding your mother's attempted murder.
Ah, of course.
Have you got time to answer some questions?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem.
Do you know anything about the events leading up to your mother's premature interment?
No, it was a complete shock. Mother seemed to be perfectly healthy and full of life. Then, without warning, she was dead. Or so we thought.
I take it you were glad to be wrong?
What a ridiculous question. Of course I was. What sort of heartless beast would celebrate their mother's death?
Oh, I could name a few. Juliet definitely didn't shed any tears over Madame Dupre, though. That much is obvious.
Miss Montgomery, you don't have to lie to me. I'm not going to assume you tried killing your mother just because you weren't upset by her death.
I felt terrible about it. You have to understand, I didn't want her to be dead. I just felt a sense of relief. Please, don't think me a horrible person, Mr. Fordham. It's just that Mother and I aren't currently on the best of terms.
Why don't you and your mother get along?
We've never completely seen eye to eye on anything. She always disapproved of anything I did. When I was younger, she used to forbid me from speaking to the servants. I saw no harm in a kind word or smile, but she warned us that if we were too familiar, they would take liberties. Then when I declared my intentions to pursue academic studies, she really went livid.
Figures.
In her opinion, a university education was tantamount to a chastity belt. What sort of man would want a wife with a head full of useless facts, she'd say.
Personally, I've always found intelligence to be quite attractive.
I assume your mother didn't approve of your involvement with Mr. Martin?
A rather forward question, Mr. Fordham. But you're not mistaken. I'm not sure how she managed to find out about Albert and me, but when she did, she nearly had a conniption. As I'm sure you can understand, the situation at home has been less than perfect in the last few months. I'd really rather not dwell on it.
You mentioned you were friends with the servants.
Yes, that's right. I didn't care that they worked for us. Everyone needs a friend.
Did your mother ever mistreat them?
Mistreat? No, I wouldn't say so. She was always very stern, though, and quite cold. If they ever shirked their duties or misbehaved, they were punished, of course, but nothing out of the ordinary that I ever saw. Most of the servants are my friends, but I'm closest with Amelie, the kitchen maid. Mother wasn't too happy about that. Amelie's been around as long as I can remember. She's like the aunt I never had.
What can you tell me about Albert Martin?
I'm not quite sure where to begin.
Why not start by telling me what your relationship with him was?
We met here at the greenhouse. He was working as an assistant, sweeping and cleaning and fetching things for the students. My focus was on academics, naturally. I wasn't too interested in romance. In fact, I've had to turn away nearly every single one of my classmates. But with Albert, I found myself intrigued. I noticed him stealing glances, lingering just a bit too long after bringing over a book or flask, sweeping the same patch of floor near me over and over again. It wasn't too long before I had him bringing me tools and equipment, regularly.
I see.
As I mentioned, Mother was an absolute terror when she found out.
Do you believe Mr. Martin did what he stands accused of?
I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem like him, but Albert can be quite passionate. If the police believe he's to blame, then they must have a reason for it. It wasn't any secret that he hated Mother. Perhaps I should have ended things sooner. It was satisfying to know that Mother was displeased, but I never imagined it would lead to something like this.
Well, it's nice to see she's all heart.
So, you study botany. Fascinating subject.
Are you an admirer of plants, Mr. Fordham?
My wife has the green thumb in the household, but I do have a certain appreciation for them.
Plants are amazing things, just like people in many ways.
How do you mean?
They need attention and care. Ignore a plant, and it will wither. Give it too much attention, and it will become sick. Plants have many things to teach us, and I greatly enjoy learning from them.
Do you know anything about ethericity, Miss Montgomery?
You surprised me, Mr. Fordham. I had no idea someone of your profession would know or care about something like that.
I've found that it pays to be open-minded.
To answer your question, yes, I am familiar with the theory of ethericity. In fact, it's recently become a focus of my studies. Despite what the newspapers have been reporting, it's already possible to access it in small quantities from the air around us.
Have you conducted any experiments?
No, my research has been purely theoretical. I don't have the means to do anything practical, I'm afraid.
Deceiver, dissembler, her trousers are alight. I can't understand why Juliet might not want to make her research public, though.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Miss Montgomery, please don't lie to me. I know you've been conducting experiments with ethericity. I've seen the room you're renting on Forest Lane.
What? But how?
I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't find things out, Miss Montgomery. Now please, drop the act and tell me about your experiments.
Fine. I've been researching etheric effects on living organisms. I'm planning on presenting my discoveries to the board once I make more progress. So far, I've managed to discover that plant growth is accelerated significantly. It's given me quite the advantage in class.
But isn't that cheating?
You have no idea how difficult it's been for me to be taken seriously, Mr. Fordham. No matter how hard I tried, my work wasn't valued on its own merits by my peers or professors. I fought hard to get where I am. I wasn't about to lose all that just because some pig-headed idiots didn't think my best was good enough.
That sounds awfully familiar.
What about your notes on the effects of ethericity on animals?
Oh, those aren't complete. I haven't tested the effects on anything larger than flies. Those experiments were mainly to satisfy my curiosity, but they have little to do with my actual research.
Curiosity? Seems like a lot of effort to go to just to answer a question. But then, I never really understood these scientific types.
What can you tell me about your brother?
Andrew, Mama's precious little boy. If you've met him, you pretty much know all you need to. He's had the whole world handed to him on a silver platter. But he's in for a rude awakening someday. Mother can only provide for him for so long.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty significant scientific advance. Oops. Don't want to quit, I want to save. Cool. Cool. All right. So we'll stop there for now. We'll continue investigating next time. We should definitely go back to that dude's mother's house and give her the message that he gave us. And we still need to find a way to snap Andrew out of his high, I guess. I don't know. All right. So we'll probably do that next week. Other than that, tomorrow we'll continue with Harvester. If we finish that, we'll go back to Reciteer. And this weekend, on Saturday at 1 p.m., I will be taking part in an end-of-the-year charity marathon with the YouTube Adventure Roundtable. I will be playing Elsinore, and I will have one of the other game devs of that game with me to chat about the game, hopefully, if everything works out. Yes, 1 p.m. Pacific time, yes. And of course, there will be a bunch of other games and a bunch of other cool streamers, so I definitely encourage you to check it out. And yeah, other than that, tomorrow, like I said, Harvester. Next week will be more Quest for Infamy and more of this. And hello. Just in time. I'm just wrapping up. But let's find someone to raid before I let you go. Let's see. Let's see. Who's raiding or who's playing something good? Oh wow. Hilariously, Taco Salad is playing LA Noire, which I just finished last week. So you know what? I that's just too good to pass up. I have to send you over there. Taco Salad. There you are. Okay, so yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this first look at Lamplight City. I am definitely enjoying it. I really like the setting. I like the characters. It's all pretty cool so far. So looking forward to more of this. And yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow, and see you on Saturday, and see you next week. As always. Oh God, no, wrong button. Start raid, not play. That's the right button. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Later.